Hello everyone, I am the Yorkshire Gardener and this is my weekly allotment and garden tour to show you what I've been getting up to over the last week down on my allotment and to show you what it is looking like at the moment. See what's growing, see what I've potted up, see what's planted and see what's happening down on the allotment site. So yeah, I've had a busy week over the last week clearing my plot and getting it all ready, because now that the frost is hopefully finishing, I can start planting stuff out in the plot and fingers crossed it will grow. So we will have to see on that. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for how I get on with planting all my vegetables in my next weekly tour of my allotment. So let's have a look around the plot and see what is happening this week. So I'm currently at the front of my allotment site and these are my alliums, which are doing absolutely fantastic. This was the first one to come out. I've now got a couple more popping out, so it's always good to see. My pansies are doing well. I planted them absolutely years ago. I'm surprised they're still going, but they keep coming back every single year, so I'm pleased about that. So yeah, we've got a couple more alliums coming out, so they look beautiful, and these tulips are lasting forever. I don't know how they're lasting so long, but yeah, they're doing fantastic. I'm so pleased with these variety. I'm definitely going to get some more of them next year because they've done so well. So yeah, all my daffodils, they've died off, and my hyacinths. So yeah, I've got lots of bindweed to be taken out this week down on the plot. That grows really well. But look at them alliums, they look a bit different to other ones. But yeah, they're coming out now, so next time you come down they should be in flower and we'll be able to see how they're getting on. So yeah, this is all my shrubbery in front of my shed, which does well. But yeah, I need to get some more flowers planted in there for summer so that I keep up it looking nice. So as we're entering my plot, we can see that some lilies are popping through down on here, which is good. I've got one bean popping through. I meant to have beans all the way down here, but it only seems like one's growing through. Oh no, look, there they are, they're hiding. So yeah, I just need to fasten that back and fingers crossed they'll all grow up. So yeah, nice little surprise there. I'm pleased about that. In these beds I planted some spring onions. I planted them straight into the soil, as I've read up that they don't like to be moved necessarily. So I thought I'll sprinkle some in the bed and see how they get on. So stay tuned for how we get on with those down in the bed. And down here I planted some sweet peas. A few seem to be popping through. I'm keeping them watered every so often. So yeah, they're popping through. So I need to get some netting up for them once they get going. So let's have a look down here. My raspberries are doing well. They're growing really well. These are meant to be my autumn variety, what I've planted. And I've got some gladioli bulbs. I planted them to add some more colour into the plot, as I wanted to attract as many bees as possible onto my plot this year. That's my main aim. And my blueberries, they're doing really well. Some of the flowers are popping off now, so it looks like they might be taking. So we'll have to see how they get on. But yeah, it's I only planted these last year, so they're quite newish to me. So yeah, we'll see how they all get on. But my job for this week is to keep everything weed free. So I've got a lot of weeding to do this week to get it all back on job. But look at the size of my plums, how they're coming on. They're growing really well. This is my Victoria plum tree and it does absolutely fantastic on the plot. I've had this absolutely years. Some years it don't grow any, but some other years it does absolutely fantastic. And I think this year is going to be a year for fantastic plums. But yeah, look at that. That's another blueberry bush. That one's doing well as well. And I planted some spring onions in this one, but they don't seem to be doing as well. I need to get them weeds out, but they don't seem to be doing as well as that one. Whether it's because that one's shaded compared to this one, I don't know. And that lily's growing tall as well. All my lily bulbs don't seem to have come through, but we'll see how they get on. I might have to plant some more of those next year to fill the gaps. But yeah, all those are my raspberries. I need to get that tree out. That's a job for the list. I'll have to go around and make myself a list of all the jobs what need doing and see if I accomplish them. But yeah, more gladioli bulbs. Like I said, I'm adding lots and lots of colour this year to my plot. And my bamboo bush is doing well. It's not going too wild, which is what I want. So yeah, that's looking good. And that's my goji berry bush. I planted that in the wrong area, to be honest, but I might move that. But we'll leave it as it is at the moment. We'll move it when it's dormant. But yeah, I'm so pleased with all these plums. Look at the size of them. Fingers crossed I'm going to get loads this year. And my lemon balm, that always does brilliant. It's always nice to get a little whiff of that as I'm walking past it. My broad beans are doing fantastic, look at them. I planted them in where my polytunnel trough is, where the plastic was underneath it, so it keeps it moist. So yeah, they're doing really well. I need to get some netting up for them soon and get them fastened up when they start growing taller, because I don't want them to cover my path. My rhubarb's starting to come back. As I said the other week, it's been picked to death, so I've left all the smaller rhubarb to grow thicker and to get back on top of things. So it's a case of keeping water in it every time when you're down here. Rhubarb loves water, so that's what I keep doing. My cooking apple tree, the blossom's still doing fantastic on that. Fingers crossed I get some apples on it. I did give it a really good chopping back this year, as it was going wild last year, so I gave it a really good chopping back. I cut off every end on every branch, so fingers crossed it does grow well. So yeah, let's have a look at some of my other fruit trees. They're all doing well, look. Getting lots of fruit on them. And I fastened my apple tree up, as that was laying on the floor last week when you saw. But yeah, that's now standing back up, and I have apples growing on it, so that's a good sign. These are eating apples, these ones, and I've got absolutely loads off it last year. Like again, I've given it another chop back like my other tree, but we'll see what we get on it this year. If I don't get anything this year, vast amounts, I don't mind, but I gave it a good chopping back and I'll leave it next year if I don't get anything to grow a bit more. So yeah, let's wander around. I'm so pleased with that plum tree. That is my best asset. Down here is meant to be my sweet peas and my carrots. As you can see, the weeds are growing too much, so I need to weed them. And I don't know about my carrots, I might have to weed them out and replant them, but we'll see. But my sweet peas, you can see all down that front bit, so that's going to be netting up the front of my shed for the sweet peas to grow up, and I'll be able to pick them off and put them in a vase to smell the scents. Down this side, again, I've got lots of weeding to do this week. Plenty of weeds. Last week I was concentrating on clearing all my beds, so the weeding went to pot last week, but fingers crossed I'll be back on top of it this week as I'm off work all week. My rhubarb, which I planted from seed, it's not doing as well around this side, but we'll see how it gets on. We might have to move them next year, but we'll see how they get on. Again, lots of weeds, but my radish plants, they're growing well. In there, these are my potatoes popping through. It looks like the frost may have got some of them, so we'll see how they get on. But yeah, hopefully they'll come back. It looks like the frost's got quite a few of them on that side as well. So yeah, you've always got to be careful of the frost and potatoes. I should have actually put fleece over them, but we'll see if they grow back. I'll keep watering them, and fingers crossed we'll soon get going. And down this side it is meant to be potatoes as well, but yeah, it looks like the frost's got some of them as well, so fingers crossed they do come back. But yeah, my radish there down the front as well. So like I said, lots and lots of weeding to do this week. Down here I've got some beans growing in the front of here. It's hard to see which ones are the beans and which ones are the weeds, but yeah, beans are growing down the front, so it'll be a case of weeding all this week. So I have got lots and lots and lots and lots of weeding to do. I'm sure everybody has lots of weeding to do on the plot, but with it being dry, hopefully they won't grow back as fast at the moment. So yeah, down here are my strawberry plants. They are doing fantastic. They are doing absolutely brilliant. I'm keeping them watered and they are getting lots of flowers on, so fingers crossed we have lots of fruit on them as well this year. So as I said, quite a lot of them are new plants this year to fill the gaps in what I had. So they won't produce as many, but should produce a few. So yeah, I'm pleased about that. So that's some more raspberries. There's some of the raspberries. They all need fastening up to the netting. And they're my garlic and my onions, which I planted back in November. So they're doing well as well. I'm pleased about them. And one big change from last week's video is that I've put chicken wire all the way around the edge of my plot, as that's where I grow the runner beans, up the wire. As you can see, there's some runner beans from last year. And I've also put netting over the top. I know quite a few of my followers don't like that because of the birds, but I've never had any trouble with birds getting stuck in here before, so that's all up and fastened up. That will stop the birds from eating all my brassica plants and decimating them. I did at first used to just put netting over the beds, but it was faffing around, taking it off, weeding, putting it back on again, taking it off, another few days later weeding. So I thought I'll put it over the top of my plot, and that has done fantastic. It cost me about £80 for the piece of netting, but I bought that 5 years ago, so it's definitely done its time. I'm pleased with how it's lasted, and yeah, I just put it back on every year and it covers the full length of my plot and keeps it all protected. So yeah, I've literally cleared most of my beds. You can still see a few weeds growing, but all of them are going to be redug back over, cleared, weeded, and all the paths laid, and put another coat of paint on them to make them all ready this week for planting out in the plot. That's my main plan this week, to get as much planted out as possible. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the chance of frost has gone. So yeah, I need to get all my paths laid, all the beds cleared and dug over and weeded, and Bob's your uncle. So next week, when you come down, you should be able to see all my plants which I've planted outside, which I'll be showing you now as we move back into the shed. Oh, and if you saw my video on my Facebook page last week, all my shelving collapsed with my plants on, which I just potted up. So that wasn't very good. But I have a good friend who's got the plot next to me, and he's potted up all the plants back on my plot, in the pots again for me. So I'm absolutely over the moon about that. So let's have a look inside. Soon I'll be showing you inside the polytunnel, but it's still a mess at the moment. That's just my dumping ground. But yeah, those were some runner beans that I started off later than my other batch, as I wanted a few extra ones because my friends keep asking me for some runner beans. So I've planted some more up. All the kale's doing well, and the flowers. I'm having lots and lots of flowers on my plot this year. That's my main plan, to get as many flowers as possible on the plot. But yeah, all my cauliflowers are growing. These are my black variety, and that variety which I can't say. So yeah, I've got squash, courgette growing in these pots, so they all need potting up individually. My geraniums are doing well. Marigolds, like I said, I need to get a lot of stuff out now because it's dying off and it's getting scorched in here because it's that hot. But yeah, as you can see, everything is ready for going out. Lots of lettuce, cabbage, cauliflower, sunflowers, they all need going out. More red kale, what I potted up, that needs going out. So yeah, I've got lots of onions and spinach to make me big and strong. And these are all my tomatoes and cucumbers and squash and pumpkins what collapsed on my shelving last week, so fingers crossed they all take. And also some zinnia plants as well. So as you can see, I've got quite a lot going on. I've got some more sunflowers. I'm going to have absolutely loads of bees hopefully on the plot this year. That's an iceberg variety of lettuce, so that's doing well. And they're all my melons as well, if you're following them. Some of them are dying off, but I did plant extras just in case, to be safe. So everything is looking good. And my sweet corn, I didn't get many sweet corn plants growing, so I planted some more sweet corn plants, which seem to be coming through pretty well. So I'm pleased about that, as sweet corn is absolutely delicious. If you grow that on your plots, it's one of the best things to grow. And some more squash and courgettes down there on the floor, because I've run out of shelving and it collapsed. So as you can see, that was my tour of my allotment and garden. As you can see, I'm doing absolutely loads this year. As last year I moved out of into my own place, so to be self-sufficient as much as possible is what I'm planning on doing this year. So next time when you come down on the video, you'll see that, fingers crossed, I planted a lot of it outside. So we'll be able to see how it's getting on outside and whether it takes or not in this weather. Fingers crossed, it has tipped to be a hot week this week, so fingers crossed it does well. But if you are planting stuff outside, make sure you give it a good drink of water the night before planting it outside, so that it takes better. Don't let them be dry before planting them out, as you could lose your plants. So, and obviously watch out for frosts what are coming and cover them over as necessarily, which I should have done with my potatoes, but fingers crossed they do still grow. So we'll see how they get on. If you've not subscribed to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button, and then you get notified when I post new videos, new tours, new tips, new advice. And also feel free to check out the website link as well below. I'm giving my website a massive revamp with lots of new advice, tips and advice. So I'm trying to make it easy to navigate. It's still work in progress, but I'm enjoying doing it, so please check it out. And also, if you are not following me on Facebook, check out the link below for that, and you'll see my live videos whenever I'm down on the allotment. I produce live tours of the allotment where people talk to me and get in touch with me. It's always good to see who's following me. So yeah, thanks for watching. Until next week, everybody, remember, keep gardening.